All right. Looks like we got an A-side match. I think this is third round. I'll have to take a look. We got JEIRID Pickens from Spokane versus Rodney Barney from Yakima. It's a 525 and under tournament at the Little Dutch Inn in Yakima. I think there was 24 players in this tournament. JEIRID overcut that ball and played it off the 5 on accident, which is why he lost the cue ball. So in a bad spot, going to be kicking. Yeah, gave him ball in hands. Rodney's got a good chance to get out here and get the first game. Yeah, he was a little on the wrong side of that. He had to make a really good shot there to pinch that a little to be able to draw back to play the 7 in the side like this, but made a good shot. Should be out here. Oh, lost the cue ball a little bit there. All right. Winner break, race to 7, 9-ball BCA rules. Opponent rack because 9-ball breaks do count. 3 fouls in effect. Rodney got the first game. He'll be breaking since it's winter break. These guys are in the third round. Looks like Rodney Barney won his first match against Matt Palmer 7-1, and then won his second match against Kevin Young 7-5. That's what got him here. JEIRID Pickens won his first match 7-4 against Willie Wong, and then won his next match 7-2 against Kelly Smith. Both these guys are 505 Fargo. So Fargo's eyes, these guys are identical players. But we'll see who plays just a touch better than the other in this match here. Yeah, starts with a safety. It's a really good shot. JEIRID can try to spin off this end rail, get a good hit, or he can try to jump at this ball. I kind of like the jump. If he jumps and hits it full, he can, depending on what he tries to do there, he can 2 to 3 rail the one ball around the table and try to get some cover or at least some distance. Kicking, he's got to spin a lot to be able to get over there. Can't hit it too hard. Got to let that English take. I clipped the 2 on the way there. So another rack where Rodney's going to get ball in hand. See what he can do with it. 3 foul is in effect. Fairly open table though. I don't see him really going for that. I mean, I'm assuming he'll put the cue ball somewhere in this area and just try to roll the cue ball out to here to play the 2 in this bottom left pocket. If he gets good to the 2, then everything else is pretty natural. He shouldn't run into a whole lot of problems trying to get out here. Yeah, leave himself a little straight. Yeah, I don't mind him trying to come around table like this, but playing the 2 in the same pocket. But he left himself really straight and trying to force. I mean, with ball in hand, he could have just gave himself a natural angle to play around for it. JEIRID got a little frustrated, I think, because Rodney missed this ball and then got some safety behind the 7. But it's frustrating when your opponent misses and hooks you, obviously. However, could be worse. He could have made it and got out. So JEIRID just has to be happy he has a chance here, and a good chance too. He's just got to pocket this 2 in the side, and he should be in the one with the driver's seat. This tournament this is I believe it's a $100 buy-in tournament, and then there's also a optional side pot. I'm not sure. I want to say it was a $40 side pot. So I believe it pays top 6. The winner will be getting $1,000 from the tournament plus another $360 from the side pot. So whoever wins this, as long as they're in that side pot, we'll be walking away with over a $1,300 payday. So it's pretty good. Yeah, JEIRID just kind of hit the 2 a little flat and got in a funny spot and left himself that back cut on the 3. Overcut it though. Assuming Rodney's going to play a safety here, try to get down below the 5. Oh, wow, he fired at that 9. I should stop making assumptions, I guess. Right here, I would assume JEIRID's just going to bring that cue ball this direction. Yeah, he tried to hit that with some speed and kill it to be able to get separation, get the 3 all the way up table. He just didn't get cover. But he didn't really leave Rodney an offensive shot here, I don't believe, unless he tries to bank this 3. The 5 doesn't look like it's wired. I mean, he might be able to get it to push over, but then where's the cue ball going? Yep, he's just trying to play safety. Smart. You don't have to get cover to get safe. Just a table control containing safety can do the job. Yeah. It's a good shot. See what Rodney comes up with here. I like kicking off the end rail at it. Gives you a chance to get safe. As long as you don't overhit it. But he might be able to see this ball. Yep. All right. See what you got, JEIRID. Play this 3 in the side and try to get down there for the 5. I don't know if he's got the right angle to do that or not. Definitely don't want to nudge the 9 trying to get by it and funnel that cue ball straight down in. So the safety might be the best option here. Oh, no. Yeah, he opted for a safety, but pocketed the ball. Accidentally, obviously. It's a big mistake right there. He lost the last rack from giving Rodney ball in hand deep in the rack. He will not give ball in hand this time. That was a really good kick shot. All right. Rodney's got yet another opportunity at this table to try to seize control. I know Rodney prides himself on banking the ball pretty good, so I wouldn't be surprised if he goes for the bank instead of cutting the ball or playing safe. Yeah, he tried cutting it. That was a tough shot. All right, this is the 7 pass. Yeah, I mean, I think it might, even if you hit it with, soft, in case it nudges that rail. Yeah, he's going to move some stuff right here, though. He's just got to get to a pocketable ball in the 7 because the 8's in a good spot. He missed the 6. Giving Rodney a pretty natural table here. You should just be playing this to let the cue ball come back out to center, and then everything's pretty easy from there. If you're watching the stream, let me know where you're watching from, who you're rooting for. This is at the Dutch in Yakima. The top left of your screen, you'll see some sponsors. Definitely take a look at those. Can't do a lot of this without the sponsors. Got Screen FX for embroidering, screening, shirts, hats, coats, sweaters. ACH in Warden doing hauling. Pacific Northwest Design and Fab, PNW Design and Fab. Gary Bradley Trucking. Volution Fitness. They have multiple sites around Yakima and Tri-Cities, Lower Valley. You'll also see on the banner on the wall, on the back right there, Budweiser is a big sponsor of events here at the Dutch. I got the rest of the sponsors on there. You don't see Gary Bradley Trucking on there. They came on board after that banner was made. I know that there was some plans to have another banner made. I'm not sure that's been completed yet, but we do appreciate Gary Bradley Trucking and all the sponsors jumping in and helping out and being a part of the stream. So Rodney takes a 2-0 lead. Lots of mistakes by both these guys. I would say that there are some uncharacteristic mistakes. Both these guys play a little better than what they were showing, but beginning of the match, and you get a little bit of the jitters. Once they get settled in, I think you'll start seeing a little better pool. Both these guys can play pretty decent here, so expect to see it get cleaned up a little bit as this match goes on. Rodney makes a ball, but gets unlucky. He's probably going to need to push here. Doesn't really have an open shot at the 1. There's some other A-side matches going on right now. Let me take a look at the bracket. Curious to see who's doing what out there. Yep, he's going to push. I don't think he wanted to push that far. Giving JEIRID a lot of options here. He can pocket the ball. It's not easy, though, to hold shape for the 2. He can play a safety if he wants to. Whoever's pushing is usually at the disadvantage because your opponent's always going to be able to either give it back if it's just terrible or go for it, And JEIRID fired at the 9 there. Almost made it. Left Rodney a shot here, but we're in the same boat. Rodney's got to come into this through this window between the 4-7, try to get short side on the 2. The 2 does go, but then shape from the 2 to the 3 is not easy. So he might be better suited to play the 1 here and then just play a safe on the 2. And he came up short. So it looks like one match just got completed. Keith Tappe of Spokane just beat Dustin Geffey here from Yakima, 7-5. So that advances Keith Tappe to the Final Four on the A side. Good job, Keith. Yeah, looks like Jared's going to have ball in hand here. But from the 2 to 3 is not easy. The 3 passes the 9 into that top left corner, so he has an option to be able to try to get short side. But, yeah, the angle he's setting up here, I'm assuming he's going to play a safety. Just lock him up on the back of the 6 ball. Yeah, good shot. He wanted to get him tight on the 6, but this should work. And he's even given himself 2 close to the 9 and the 3, so he could play a 2-9 if he gets ball in hand. I doubt he will, but if he gets ball in hand, he can play the 2-9. Or he's down there, he can play shape to the 3, and everything else is pretty open. So David Jenny beat Trey Vineyard. They just finished a match. He won 7-3. Both those guys are from Spokane. Jose Padilla beat Jose Mendoza 7-3. So he's in the Final Four on the A side as well. And then the winner of this will be on the Final Four, on the A side. So getting deep into this tournament already, early on. Looks like Kevin Young and Ernie Gonzalez just starting a match. Kevin Young beat Brian Burkett on the B side. Buddy Blackburn's up 2-1 on Cody Wilson. Buddy beat Adam Valise on the B side, 7-5 to get there. Cody beat Mel Felton. Robert Arundo from Moses Lake, one of our sponsors here with ACH. He is playing Nepi Passaporte from Spokane. Robert is from Moses Lake, I believe. They're on the B side, and Nepi is up 3-1. And then Matt Palmer is playing Al Hawk. Matt's from the Yakima area. Al's from the Lower Valley area near Yakima. So Jared's going to have ball in hand. He's going to have a choice here. Looks like he pocketed the 6 on the way, trying to kick to that. So it opened the table up even more. But Jared's going to go for the early 9 here. I don't blame him. It's pretty straight. Pockets it, so he gets on the board 2-1 with the break. Winner break can change the dynamic of a match compared to the alternate break. It's easier to slow your opponent down and get him out of stroke when it's winner break. You can break and run. You can break and play safeties, play table control, as long as you can pocket a ball in the break and see your next object ball. Then winter break is really beneficial to be able to get yourself in stroke and keep your opponent from getting in stroke or staying in stroke if that's the case. All right, he breaks 3-6. Made 3 balls on the break, and everything's down here on this end of the table. Looks like a shooting drill almost. He just wants to pocket this one. He doesn't want to hammer it because he wants to just do a little stun shot and just drift over a little bit and just tap into the 9 probably. Doesn't want to cover the 6. Just wants to hold shape right there for the 2. And then he has a workable rack for sure. Yeah, just like that. But he didn't pocket the 1. That's what he needed. He just needed to make that 1 ball. All right, this is where Rodney's got to fall into this window between the 3-9. And he's going to scratch. Wow. So he tried to come all the way around, come between the 2-6 to get there. Yeah, definitely a little tougher, I think. Jared's got an opportunity here. Depends how he wants to play this. I mean, he can play it with draw to get out of there. I like, I don't know, I like myself leaving the cue ball in this range right here, and then just letting the cue ball come off the rail and come back out this direction. You want to aim to hit the 9. Yeah, he's going around everything. He just got there. You might have to draw all the way back to the center of the table for the 6. Doesn't have much angle. And he kind of stunned off the wrong direction. He didn't hit that ball center, but he left himself a shot on the 6. And he needs to use some inside English because he wants that cue ball, when it comes off and hits the rail here, he wants it to spin this direction. So he needs to shoot this with some left-hand English. He can come straight across and take the steeper cut on the 7, but yeah, I was just going to say, but speed's going to be an issue with that. And it ended up hooking him. That's why I like using some left-hand English on there. It just eliminates the 9 ball. Makes the ball harder to pocket, but maybe it's just I'm comfortable with using inside English. But oh wow, he almost made that 7. All right, Rodney's got a really good opportunity here to take a 3-1 lead. And I can tell you that one of Jared's first matches against Willie Wong, he was down, I want to say 4-1 in the match. He just struggled in the beginning part of the match and down 4-1, and then he kind of got in stroke and started playing really good pool and ended up winning that match 7-5, I believe. It's a little tougher. That was a first round match. It's a little tougher to do when you're 3 rounds in, though, because your opponent has come off of a couple wins as well. So it's not going to be as easy to make a big comeback. So he definitely doesn't want to let Rodney get too much of a lead here. Sounds obvious, but you just got to try to maintain some mental focus here, not let it get to him. Yeah, it goes back to the beginning with ball in hand, having ball in hand on the 2. I think he's better suited to come off the direction I was saying. Leaves himself some angles. He came off to the center of the table, but, he could have got on the wrong side, which made it more difficult. He could have hooked himself, or he ended up getting pretty straight and had to try to force something and got funny to the 6. So just kind of trickled down from that first shot, Rodney makes a ball, but doesn't have a good, legit shot at this first object ball. Thought he was going to play a safety there, but he chose to go for it. I'm assuming Jared's going to play safe here. I'm not sure if he's going to try to bank this ball as like a 2-way. I like just going for the all-out safe, though. Yeah, that's what he's doing. It's easier to control. I think he's going to leave Rodney the ball. Rodney's not going to have to kick at it, but I'm not sure he can really go offensive here. A little bit of left-hand English and clip the left side of the 1. Yep. But, Jared has an opportunity here. He can cut this ball in, come back and forth through the window of the 5-6, or if he can see enough of this ball, he can get a pretty good safety out of this and have a pretty open table if he gets another chance. Yeah, he went for it, and he's going to leave Rodney a shot. I don't fault him. I did like the safety, though. Just keep in control. That's what I was just mentioning before the rack started. You don't want to, force a shot. It was a tough shot. He can make those, but, you got to play your percentages. All right, Rodney's going to be bridging a little funny. He's got to try to work this ball around the table. I'd like to see him come 3 rails this direction to be able to play the 3 in this bottom right. Just force that with a little bit of right-hand English, high right. Look, he's going center right. Might bring that 9 ball into play. Oh, hit it good. He's got to put a big stroke on this one, though, to be able to get to the 5 ball. Yep, came up short. He was on a good line there. He just came up short. See what he does. I think he's trying to cut this ball. If that's what he's doing, he's got to be playing safety. He's hitting way too thick into this. Yeah. Can't tell if he left JEIRID a shot on this ball. Can you see any bit of it? If you can see that side of it, it's going to be a scratch shot. See what he comes up with. Yeah. Oh, he got away with that. Got pretty close. Left Rodney pretty straight. This is one of those he's probably going to have to go rail first, which is difficult from this spot here. So he'll have to hit just past the side pocket. Or he can just slow roll this in and then take his medicine on the 6. Yeah, that's what he tried to do. But he lost the cue ball, widened out on him a little bit, and left JEIRID a chance here. And he's put a little bit of... Oof. He's just going to roll this ball in. Yep. So JEIRID should be out here getting on the board 2-3 with the break. That's big. It's really big. Didn't like that at all. He had an angle to just draw back over to this part of the table, and he'd get anywhere on this part of the table over here and have an easy shot at the 9. Instead, he tried to roll into short side and come up funny. Oh, no. All right. Maybe a little commentator's jinx there. Thought he'd be out. He just made a little mistake, so he's down 4-1. The last time he was down 4-1 was on this same table, so maybe this is just how he likes to start matches. Who knows? If you're out there watching, let me know where you're watching from, who you're rooting for. These guys will often go back and watch their streams and see how they did, see what they can do different, and they'll be able to see those comments and see who's out there supporting them. So it's like Rodney's going to try jumping this 1-5. I don't hate it. I'm not sure there's a whole lot of really good push opportunities here. It's not that tough of a jump. You're not jumping the whole 9. You're not even close to it. So you just got to make sure and not hammer this. Well, he jumped into it full. And he leaves JEIRID a shot. It's hard to tell how much angle JEIRID has on this. He might have to play this with a little bit of inside and clip that 4 and come off 2 rails around. No, he was pretty straight. It's a good shot. I like to play this back to the side pocket, play the 2, and come back to play the 3 in the side, just to give myself a little miss hit there. Definitely didn't want to go that direction. Now he's got to put a big stroke on this ball because he's got to get all the way back up table for the 4. Coming short side and going to scratch. Ugh. Yeah, JEIRID's made a lot of uncharacteristic mistakes here, and Rodney's been capitalizing on it late in these racks. Yeah, good shot. You just didn't want to be on the wrong side of the 5. You got a decision to make here too. He can play this with some draw to draw down this direction, which I like, because playing the cut and trying to drift down here, it's easy to come up too short and be blocked by the 9, or come up too long and have a hard shot on the 6. Maybe it's a little bit of a comfort thing for him, but I prefer drawing to this half the table. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. That's just bring too many variables into play. You got to play too precise a shape. Yeah, gets a good hit and gets love. Yeah, that's going to hurt. It makes the 9. Looks at JEIRID, probably says, sorry, man. With a little bit of look of like, ugh. But, it's 9 ball. It's the game you're playing. But yeah, I mean, like going back to that 6, playing shape from the 5 to the 6, you're basically playing into a area of this size to not be hooked by the 9 and not have a funny shot on the 6. When you're fully capable of drawing the ball, and where that 5 is sitting in this pocket here, you can shoot it straight into the pocket. You don't have to back cut it into the center of the pocket. It's right there. So you can hit it fairly full and draw, and then you have literally this whole half the table. So you see the shape windows way bigger over here than over there. With that said, I mean, he kicks and fluked in the 6 and still won the game. So he may never look back at that and think that there's anything wrong there, because he got the game. Knows he got lucky, but he's gonna look past it. But yeah, that's anytime you can play to the bigger windows and not have to worry about getting hooked, it's the direction you should go almost every time. Trying to play specific shape is not easy. It's also mentally exhausting through a course of a match and tournaments. You see Robert Rondo right here on the screen, shaking his head, put his head down a little bit. He must have hooked himself. He's with ACH out of Warden, Washington, which is your sponsor on the screen right now. All right, this is that spot. JEIRID has to do everything he can to keep Rodney off the hill. Brakes haven't been the best, so let's see if this is any better. A good break. The cue ball got kicked down into a funny spot. If he can see the one here, depending on his speed, he can play a pretty decent safety here. Oh, he tried to carom the 3 in. Those are the kind of careless shots you don't want to start trying to pull off when you have a big lead like this, because it's really easy for your opponent to gain some traction and come back. So you have your opponent down, you just want to keep your foot on the throat. Play the safeties. Don't let them get in stroke. Don't let them get games. Yep, JEIRID missed that one. A little frustration showing through. Rodney cuts the ball thin. Cue ball is going to take off because it doesn't hit it thick enough to slow it down at all, which he needed to. So he's going to have tough shape to the 3. All right. JEIRID needs this right here. Needs to get out. Needs this not only for the game, but also for his confidence, to get a little bit of confidence going and stay in this match. Put a good stroke on that ball. 5 sitting where it's at. You don't want to get too fancy. Just pocket this ball, let the cue ball go back and forth. Yeah, shot it kind of fast. He also played that with draw. I'm not sure why. I think I had to just played it with center ball, focus on hitting your spot and letting the cue ball just come back and forth across table this way. Yeah, Ronnie let that cue ball loose, and he's pretty fortunate that 5 sitting where it's at, so it's still easy to play shape for the 7. He's going to try drawing this off. He's going to leave himself probably a back angle on the 8. So he's going to be running into this 9 ball. That's where things can get funny. I prefer to play this with a draw this direction to eliminate moving the 9 at all. Yep, he just thought he was going to bump into the 9. That's why I like playing with draw. A little more control, forcing the cue ball where you want it instead of trying to clip the 9 or do something funny there. Leaves himself a little bit of a funny angle here on the 9. You should definitely pocket this ball, but it should be a lot easier than what it is. See him digging down a little bit. Makes this ball harder to make. Yeah, and he missed this ball, but gosh, that's not an easy shot for JEIRID. Not really any safe opportunities unless he was to try to just bank it to this end rail and have the cue ball come off this direction. I don't know. Depends how comfortable you are. I'd almost prefer just going for the shot. You don't want to put any low or outside on this ball. Just probably a little bit of inside on this just to avoid the scratch and try to cut this ball in. Yeah, drilled it. Nice shot. It was a great shot, especially when it's going to put your opponent on the hill. I'll take a look at that again, see if he looks like he put a little bit of insight on it. Nice shot. Yeah, it's a great shot, especially when it's going to put your opponent on the hill. right. Jared's break. 9-ball breaks count. He doesn't break for the 9. He breaks for a good open table. And he can break good, so this is his chance to try to get back in this match. And he wants that 1 to sit up. Man, look where that 9-ball went. I don't even know how that happened. Must have got kicked over there. See what Jared decides to do. He can bank this, but if he banks this ball, he'll pretty much just be playing it safe off the 2 because he won't have a shot. He'll be down below the 2 ball. Yeah, I was going to say, we're going to play safety. Man, hit that harder and that ball goes down into the 9-ball. Let me see. I'm curious what this is his chance to try to get back in this. Oh yeah, the 9 got kicked over there. Boy, that almost went. And he wants that 1 to sit up. Man, look where that 9-ball went. I don't know how that. Rodney's taking a look here. Decided to foul on purpose and pocket the 9. Didn't want to leave it sitting in the pocket, foul, because then Jared would just have an easy, pocket the 1 and then play the 2-9. So he's just basically just saying, "Come on, Jared, show me what you got. See if you can get out." Jared's got a little angle. I would like to see him just stun off and try to just stay in this area here and not try to force to play the 3 in the side. Just play to be able to play the 3 up into this corner pocket over here. That way you're not moving the cue ball too much. You're not having to force too much. Just stun off. He doesn't have a lot of angles, so this is probably just center ball, hitting your spot clean and just punching it to drift out. Yeah, similar to that. Just wanted to punch that ball, though, instead of staying by the rail. But, I think the 4 can cut to this bottom corner. So if he just pockets this ball, he's digging in. I don't like it. He drills it. What's not to like? My God, what a good shot. Somehow made it between that 4-9 without touching him. And you just got to pocket this ball on the side. Should have a pretty manageable table from there. This is the shot. This is one where Jared wants to get out because Rodney's pretty much just daring him to try to get out by giving him ball in hand there. I don't blame Rodney. Doesn't want to lose to a cheap early 9. Force your opponent to get out. And considering how it's been a little bit of a struggle through this match for Jared to get out, I don't really blame him. And he came up way short, but he's pretty fortunate that he's pretty straight on this ball, so he can just stop this ball and still have an easy shot on the 9. Yep, good out. This is where momentum plays big into pool matches. The momentum has shifted into Jared's arena. You can just tell Jared moved around that table with a lot more confidence than he has been, and see how that affects Rodney and his mental side of the game to see if he can stay composed and still play good, solid pool and still execute the way he needs to, or if that's going to rattle him a little bit, feeling a little bit of the pressure of Jared coming back. He knows Jared can play. He knows Jared can play good, and he definitely doesn't want to give him a chance back in this match. Crushes the break. And again, the 1 just goes into a funny spot. But right here, I feel pretty confident that he can cut this one in. They'll separate the 5-6. 3's in a good spot. He just really needs to come and look at how he's hitting this 5 and 6. Last thing he wants is to hit the 6 and have the 6 bank and come off this direction and have the cue ball stay over here and be hooked on the 3. He pockets it, and yeah, good shot. Great shot. Put enough left-hand English on there to get that cue ball to come off this direction, force the 6 further out for the leaving himself a shot on the 3. It was a good shot. And you can just see how he's moving around this table. He's definitely moving with more confidence. He'd like to not be on the rail here, but he can just float this in, stay over by that side rail. Yep. So we were talking about keeping Rodney in his chair. Is every time JEIRID makes balls and is getting out, the longer Rodney's sitting in the chair without hitting a ball, and yeah, he's still okay though. It's going to be harder for Rodney to pocket balls good and clean and get out the way he needs to when he gets back to the table, if he gets another shot, Still got time, but yeah, good out. Nice break. It's a great opening shot. I should have saved a little replay for that because that was a great opening shot on the 1. And, we were doing some BFS matches yesterday. They're matches that Rich Fear puts on, money matches. He gets equally skilled players together. They play for money on the stream. It gets advertised. It's got its own Facebook page and everything. And then yesterday there was a couple of them, and I ended up having to work late. And then I jumped in, ended up playing a little bit, and then jumped in to commentate with Rich and Poncho. So the 3 of us were commentating a match or two. And Rich made a comment that the 3 hardest games in a pool match are the first game, the game that gets you on the hill, and then the last game. I've always said the first and last, but he says that getting to the hill is equally as tough because everybody knows, you know that you're getting to the hill, which puts a little extra pressure on. Your opponent knows that's the chance to get you to the hill. So, that Rodney's in that spot right now where he's just trying everything he can to get to the hill first. He can cut this ball. And I know he's in that rhythm of trying to get out everywhere, but I prefer a safety right here. 3 rail this 1 out of here and get on the back of the 7. Oh, wow. He had a really good angle for that. I didn't even see that. Nice shot, JEIRID. It's probably because I'm not the best at banking, so I immediately would have went to a safety right there. But he's in get out mode. He doesn't want to give up this momentum. I don't blame him. This is not easy right here. He's on the rail, and he's got to put a good stroke on this ball. Yeah. Here's the safety. Yep. Overhit it, leaving Rodney a shot at the 1, or the 5, sorry. But let me see here. Yeah, so he can see the 5. I don't know if he can really cut it or if he has to go off the end rail. But distance is your friend in 9 ball. If you don't get cover, if you get distance, that's a really good equalizer as well. So well played by JEIRID. He'd like to have had cover behind the 9, but he'll still be feeling good about that shot. And this is a match now. Well, he's going to get pretty fortunate there. Get a good leave out of that. JEIRID gets a good hit, and he gets the love and scratches. 5 sat up too. That's kind of how this whole match has gone for JEIRID. He's just You know, he makes a mistake and it ends up being a big one. It just kind of everything goes off the rails, and then he's gotten some bad rolls, and and his opponent's been capitalizing on a lot of these, but he's been sitting. So let's see if he gets out right here. Yep, here's the tester right here. This is the game for sure. Yeah, it wasn't going to be easy. And he's going to get out to the center. Yeah, he's leaving JEIRID out. That was a pretty decent table for Rodney to get out on. And it goes back to what we were talking about on putting your opponent in their chair for longer than they should be. It's hard to stay in stroke. It's hard to get out when you should get out when you've been sitting. And that's what JEIRID did. That was a good shot. I didn't like it. I feel like he could have played something with a little more control, kept the cue ball tight and close, left himself a good shot. All that cue ball movement, his speed's got to be pretty good to not leave himself funny on the 9. But with that said, he hit it pretty good. Got really good. All right, I'm going to say it again. This chat on this stream has been pretty lazy. There's a few more people in here. I'd like to see who's out there. Let me know where you're watching from, who you're rooting for. These guys want to see the support, so let us know. When they go back to watch these videos, they'll appreciate it, trust me. All right, JEIRID's been crushing the break. Let's see what he does here. He was down 5-1, tied it up 5-5. That's huge. Man, I think he's in the window. I can't tell. He might not be the way he's standing there, but yeah, I don't know. He might not be in that window. 3's in a funny spot. He might be able to clip the 1. I'm not sure. This is a big game. Yeah, he could see it. Man, shape to the 3 is not easy. I see Kelly Smith in the chat. It was a rough go, man. You play a lot better than that. I know you do. So you just got to go. What a great shot he almost made there. Got a pretty good lead at it. Yeah, you just got to work on a little bit of that for consistency. We've all been there. Just got to get some of that table awareness and presence under control. You were pulling a Josh. You were shooting super fast and missing some shots you don't normally miss. So something to definitely look at. Jordan O'Neill, rooting for Rodney. It's a good match, Jordan. I don't know how much you've been watching, but Rodney was up big 5-1. And JEIRID came charging back and tied it up. So these guys they both play good. They're both fully capable of pulling this match out. So I said at the beginning, they're both 505 Fargos. So it's whoever makes the least amount of mistakes, is going to edge this out. Yeah, I need to put a little more English on that ball. He's trying to shoot straight to the end rail, straight-ish, because he didn't have a good path to it. and using left-hand English to bring it back over for the 2. He just didn't use enough. He didn't jump it because how tight that 2 is and how close it is to the pocket. It's super easy to just jump that ball off the rail. JEIRID overhit that a little, I think. Not necessarily overhit it, but it kind of came out wide. He's probably a little afraid he's going to get funky there, but he got pretty good. He's tall, so it makes it easy to kind of bridge over this 5 ball. Just roll the 3 in. Left himself an angle, so he should be in pretty good shape here to get to the 5 and have a chance to get out. Took a deep breath. Showing some experience there. When you're under pressure, or you can feel the moment, even if you're not nervous, but you just feel the moment of, I need to get this. It's good to take that extra second, take a big deep breath, and just keep focused. That was really good control in that draw. That's not easy to just do a soft draw to drift into shape like that. So good job, JEIRID. He's feeling it right now. He is feeling it. Rodney's going to have to figure something out to be able to have a chance in this match because JEIRID took this momentum and he's feeling it. This will be a second match that he was down big in and then made a big comeback in. So Rodney's got to try to find a way to get to the hill, to force a hill match here. Yeah, it's good, Kelly. Putting some time in, work some of those issues out. I mean, we've had the conversations, I know we all have, but practice isn't good practice unless you're working on something. A lot of people think that they just play a lot of pool and that's going to be good practice for them, but playing pool with bad habits is just learning bad habits. It's just like anything else. You put in the practice, you put in the table time, and you put in the proper table time, working on something, identifying something that needs worked on or work on it. And that's where your game is going to keep growing. All right, JEIRID, let's see what you got. Crush the break again. And, I was going to say he's going to have a really good table here, but then in the last minute, that 6 gets shoved over and ties up the 1. Yeah, he's in a funny spot. I mean, what do you do here? You can do a soft kick, coming this direction to hit the 1, have the 1 come off, try to leave the cue ball in here. But when he kicks off like that, you're not going to tie it up on the 6. He's going to leave him a shot unless you hit it with a little bit of speed. So he's looking at a push, and he's going to want to stay. He's going to want to move the cue ball over towards the center of the table, the right. Yeah, he's moving it all the way over. So he's basically leaving Rodney a kick at this 1, which Rodney, I think, is going to take on. But, he's not going to take it on, as I say. But you don't want to come short side. You want to actually come off the end rail and kick at this 1 here and try to lay it behind the 6. This is an easier safety than that first one we were talking about. Yeah, he went a little too far on it, but still a containing shot. I'd like to see Rodney shoot into this 1 ball, sending it up table this direction with some low left and have the cue ball come off and come back over here behind the 6. I think that's the shot. Playing safety. Just like that. Just like that. Good shot, Rodney. This is how it should be. Deep in a match like this, it's close. Have to play some safeties. Grind out some games instead of just running out or one little mistake and getting out. This right here is what pool's all about. All right. JEIRID tried to jump kick in there to get a good hit, and he fouled. Rodney with ball in hand, though. He just tried to play a draw stroke and got on the wrong side of the three. So he didn't hit that too good. Got a lot of work to do here. Made a good shot. Hit that with really good speed. I think he can still pocket this 4. Oh, no. But, yeah. The old Rodney would have fired that 4 with a bank. This Rodney, he slowed down and played at safety. It's good. It's a good shot. JEIRID's going to have to try to dig in, and he wants to try to use a bunch of low left and try to hit this rail and clip into the 4 here full to send the 4 up table this direction. He's going to come off the side rail. If he may not have that shot I'm talking about, but if he does, I'd rather do that than this. Because this shot, you almost have to pocket this ball for it to be a good shot. Yeah, missed it. Ball in hand. Well, this is where Rodney has a chance to get on the hill, and he needs to. He needs to let his stroke out and actually get there. Yeah, I don't like this. I like leaving myself angles. I get he's just going to be drawing straight back, but now he's coming up way short. Instead of giving himself a shot with some angles so he can stroke the ball and come around in the natural path, he's trying to draw into that area. Makes it tougher to do. Who am I to say anything? He just drills it and gets perfect on the 6. Doesn't have much angle. He needs to figure out what he's going to do with this. This is really easy to miss if you try to force it. And try to draw on the short side. Yeah. Oh, he's going to get fortunate again. JEIRID just sitting there pondering what just happened. There's been a few of these in the match that's frustrated JEIRID a little, and he's just got to come with a good kick here. The 8-9 is funky now. It's not wired to go for a combo. You got to get on the top side of that for shape. Not now, though. All right, it's Rodney's chance to get on the hill. Yeah, he left himself pretty straight. You see him shaking his head. He might just have to pocket this ball and just take his medicine on the 9. You don't want to try forcing stuff in these spots. Yeah, wow, he tried to force it. I like just stopping that ball or even just drifting over a little bit and then just taking that shot on the 9. Try forcing things like that, and it's just not going to end well. Well, this should be the match. Good job. Good job, JEIRID. Down 5-1, come back to win 7-5. That's big. It was a big comeback. Good shooting. Started putting the pressure on, and then Rodney started making some of those mistakes that he doesn't normally make. So good job. Stay tuned, everybody. Appreciate you watching. There's another match going to be thrown right away. So go to EvoSports Streaming. Look at the live feed for the Dutch. You can go to the playlist and search for the Dutch, or you can just click on EvoSports Streaming and go to where it says live. It'll show you all the live tables being played anywhere EvoSports is streaming. And you'll see a match for the Dutch. We'll have somebody's name on there for this 525 and under. So I'll see you guys as soon as that one jumps on.